What is up, guys and girls? Hurricane Liz here, and in this video we talk about what niche is hot right this moment, and I'm talking fire. And I think that some of you might be surprised, but some of you might not be surprised. But the fact is that some of you might not have even thought that this was an opportunity, particularly in the KDP niche. And I will show you and remind you of something that I talked about over a month ago that at that point was an opportunity. However, it's become even more of an opportunity as we speak right this moment. And those that hop on it will thrive and will make a ton of money. So I recommend you buckle up, listen up, and you realize what is actually hot out there right now. And lastly, as a bonus, I will also show you how to be able to tell at any one time when something is fire. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into my desktop. Okay, so we're here in my desktop and we're just gonna get right into what we're gonna search for. Now, the key here is to monitor this section regularly. Now, I don't see that many people talk about this section, and I think they quickly brush over it because they are strictly looking at bestsellers, which is a huge mistake. And the reason for that is that you're gonna miss all the big trends and the big opportunities. So I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about here. All I basically did is I Googled Amazon bestsellers new release, or you could just put Amazon bestsellers. And what happens is when I'm in the bestsellers, I look for the section that's labeled as /ZGBS, right? And once I'm inside the bestsellers, what I do is I scroll down and I can quickly peruse those and try and figure out, like, okay, is there any one theme that's selling well? But what I'm actually looking for is what the hot new releases are, and they're usually all the way at the bottom. So if I scroll down, and sometimes they won't even show up, sometimes I have to go onto page 2, and when I jump into page 2, they usually pop up and there's like a box that says hot new releases. And for some reason, of course, when I'm trying to do this video, it's not gonna pop up, but here they are right here. New releases, it was on the page 2 all the way at the bottom. I wanna click on that, and let me talk about why I wanna click on that. Again, because like I said, bestsellers are what's selling red hot pretty much like in the past 7 to 10 days, right? But hot new releases is what is absolutely trailblazing, and they've hit fire in the most recent time period. And what you're gonna notice is you can even further niche down into activities and stuff like that. But I like to look at what's selling well in children's book. And the reason why is it's gonna show me themes that parents are looking for to buy their children. So as I start looking through this, one of the things that quickly stood out, and it's quite obvious because of the status of what's going on in the USA right now, that books, and again, I talked about this back in May, and I'll show you when I talked about this. In May, during Mother's Day, I pointed out the fact that there were books for minorities, or like there was books literally where this person made a book about me and my mom, and it's basically themed for Black girls. Because let's face it, if you're a young minority girl, you could be Black, you could be Mexican, you could be any type of minority that there is out there. There's Indian, there's Native Americans, there's all sorts of minorities that aren't really represented in books or in movies. Like, it's getting better in the movie industry, but at one point they were not represented. So for this Mother's Day gift, it's very specifically for a Black woman and her child. And so it sold like fire, and like it's still selling like fire. It's at about ranked 20-some thousand, as we can see right here, 26,000 in books, which means it's selling probably about 10 to 15 a day. And fact of the matter is that as I look through the hot new releases, I can clearly see a trend from what's going on with all the riots and stuff like that, and stuff about teaching kids about racism. The world needs more purple people. And I can keep going on and on. And there's another theme that is hot too, but I'll talk about that in the hot niches. But I just wanted to point out that theme and give you guys some ideas on how to take advantage of this. And I don't really even want to say that it's taking advantage of, because I have seen the POD shirts that say I can't breathe, and they say stuff like Black Lives Matter. Those people are pretty much like taking advantage of the situation. Like, I can't breathe, that's just a pretty screwed up way to try and sell a shirt. But people like that will be taken down, because one of Amazon's rules is you cannot take advantage of a natural disaster. And this is considered that. So again, bad guys and stuff like that. There's a lot of themes related to racism and just being bad and how not to be bad. And of course, here's another one, you all because you matter. So obviously you just saw that I can't read very well, which is even like there are minorities still out in the world that cannot read, and I am one of them. So I'm proud of that simple fact. But again, if I keep going through here, you'll see exactly the fact of what I've been saying for the past month is happening, and that's even before these riots happened. It's just a fact of the matter is there's a trend for people to want to be represented to their children in books. And of course now, because of what happened, it's very unfortunate. And again, there's looters and people doing all sorts of stupid shit. But a girl like you, again, is a very good way in showing all different color girls. It is a good way of showing that things are very diverse. Welcome to the party. Here's another one. And the list goes on and on. There's even one by one of our listeners actually has one of these. And right here, ladies and gentlemen, not sure why this sexy erotic book is in the children's book section, other than the fact, if you watch my video from last week, you'll know that there are people taking advantage, in this case, children's books on friendships in order to rank #1 in the niche. And this is obviously an erotic, even sort of looks like a gay book. And again, I got no, everybody to me is the same color, who you marry and all that. That's your business. I really don't care. Good for you. If you've got a hot guy that looks like this and you're a dude, then high five, buddy. But anyways, let's talk more about this. So we've actually got a listener that has a book that deals with racism, and he's ranked for a children's book. So how do we use this for KDP? Well, it's pretty simple. Mommy and Me was a pretty clear indication of how you should do this. You should do books, coloring books, activity books that teach kids how to judge every color looking the same. And it would take a creative mind like this to be able to do it, but it's very simple to do. All you have to find is an artist that can draw this kind of stuff, and you can make it a lesson book. And I will say this much, you could have a hot seller on your hand almost immediately at publishing because of how hot this stuff is right now. But in the future, I want to get you guys used to actually searching the way I did through hot new releases. And I will remind you with these wrap-up videos every now and then that shows you what a potential trend is. But let's face it, right now, the status of the USA and what's going on, there is a lot of people with a lot of things to say, and some of them are saying it the wrong way. So I'm by no means judging anyone, but don't go and loot things. The people built those things and people paid a lot of money for that stuff. But you can make a book and make some money and stay home and do something positive for a change that could change a child's or a parent's life. So that's basically a wrap of this video. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you execute on this. And literally, this is the best way to take advantage of the situation right now. And I hate to say that it's taking advantage of the situation, but it's the smart way to market at the present time. So that's it. Let me know what you guys think below. I always answer all your questions and comments. I will see you in the next video.